Well, hello there, guys and gals. We got a lot more to do to old Toby than what we thought we had. I don't even really know where to start. So we'll start with the alternator. This is the one we took off, and it's there. This was the, along with this guy that was taped professionally, absolutely professionally, taped together to make it fit that alternator. So then we discovered upon like loosening it, that bracket that holds it there, and then, oh, yep, just got a little movement, not much, but, you know, just, let me get this, let me shed a little more light on this here for you. So we got this bracket that mounts to the manifold. That's just got a little bit of play. And then we have, yeah, that's not, that's a little bit more movement than what I was expecting, if I'm going to be honest about it. And then there's a plug in here that has a wire that's been professionally taped, as you can see. And then we bought the original type plug-in that has this many wires that don't, it's not, oh, do I see it now? I just, did I find them? I think I may have found them. The good news is they're there, but they're not. It's not there. This is, huh. And these are different. I just kind of beside myself right now. So we have officially found an antifreeze leak, power steering leak, oil leak, and coolant leak. Yep, we got the trifecta. So the water pump doesn't look very old, but it's weeping in a not so good weepy spot. So I'm pretty sure the water pump's bad. At least I hope it is. But the more I look at it, kind of looks like that gasket's bad, so that's good that I didn't even look at it. Yeah. That's more gooder. I'm glad I didn't look at that and went ahead and bought a water pump. We're batting 1,000 is what I'm trying to say. Just go ahead and buy parts and don't look directly at it. That's probably the more gooder thing to do. That gasket is absolutely soaked. Ah, that's good. That's real gooder. But anyway, we're going to have a water pump. We have to replace this power steering pump, replace this guy, and we even bought some really fancy transmission lines with 6AN fittings and the whole nine. I kid you not. On the Amazonian site, we thought since we're putting pretty much a brand new transmission in it, you might as well go ahead and make sure it's protected by having good lines. Like button initiated. Let me just show you what this alternator's supposed to look like. That one right there is off a newer model. And yeah, I right now I'm just like grasping at straws, like, did I really need this other vehicle and stuff? So, you know, that's always a good feeling whenever you're not sure if you needed it and you went ahead and bought it anyway. So they're slightly completely different, like just a little completely different, completely So anyway, whenever you're doing these kind of things and you're looking at vehicles, remember how I said this is the exact wrong vehicle to buy? It was the complete wrong vehicle to buy. The only thing that even makes it worth it is because I got it so cheap. Real cheap. And even then, I'm kind of almost slightly questioning it because of stuff like this that I keep finding. And there's a professional brake line underneath that it has extra line, and it's a kind of a free range one, if you will. Because, you know, brake lines and fuel lines should be ran however, because, you know, we need them. They don't need us. Let them do what they be doing. I think that, I don't know. So, anyway, we're going to have to pull this power steering pump anyway, since it's leaking. We're going to pull the pulley off, get that guy out of there. And then we're going to have to add bolts back in where there are supposed to be bolts. I don't know if this motor was changed or not with all this professional painting on it or not, because that's a beautiful green that I've not seen on an engine before. And the throttle body was on it, so you know they professionally painted it. I'm just kind of hoping that once we get this puppy all together, that it's going to be gooder. The good thing is I did not check oil pressure, so I might be doing all this in vain, and we might end up LS swapping it, like, you know, down the road, like, soon. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull that power steering pump. Actually, we're going to get all this stuff out of the way, I think, maybe, perhaps. Should we? I don't even know anymore. I kind of wish I had a pressure tester so I could see if the water pump was leaking, but I'm not going to kid you. That sucker is brand newish. So what I probably need to do, legitimately, is lift the truck and look underneath at the weep hole and see if there's a trace that goes. But looking at it now, it looks like this gasket is just because it would leak in the exact same spot that would. I'm going to just take a look. Also, we made a nice belt diagram. Since we don't have one, and since this thing's cracked all to heck, we just made one. What's it gonna hurt? I mean, we've got all kind of fluids just slung underneath the hood, like goblets of it. Just, rarely I say this, or I haven't said it for a while, but this is going to be a doozy. I hope we can get this straightened around and fixed and everything's gooder, but the ball doesn't look like it's in my court. Anyway, we're going to pull that pulley off there, start replacing bolts and the alternator. All right. We ran into more like stuff. I don't even know where to begin right now. This is going to turn into kind of like a big monster video, maybe, of a smorgasbord, if you will, of things that we're doing all in one kablammy. So we removed the whole bracket because there's bolts missing behind the power steering pump. Remember that guy that was missing? Yep. And you know, that guy right there is missing. That one broke off, so that's good. That one probably will break off, but we're going to spray it and hope for the best. We end up removing the lines from the back of the pump. We end up taking this bracket off as well because we need it for the next pump. And the good news is it looks like it's bent all to heck. So that's a plus. We'll put it in the vise, bend it back to where she needs to be, because that's where that goes. Anyway, the water pump, we're like, I'm not sure if it's leaking or not, but it looks wet there. Like, where it's leaking was right down on the crank. So it has to be leaking from there. It has to be. Even though this is a newer type water pump, we don't really know. We don't know. We don't know what the heck's going on. I mean, it's on the crank pulley itself, so it actually cannot be leaking just at the thermostat. It would have to leak further out this way. So we're going to go ahead and replace the pump as well. And we're halfway there because we already have the fan shroud off. This bolts off, unbolts, whatever you want to say. This is a good clutch fan. It looks like it's 13 millimeter-ish. So we're going to unbolt that guy. Probably would have been better if we left the belt on. Kind of is what it is right now. Hopefully it's not super tight. We took brake clean and some... We're just going to place that down there. We took some brake clean stuff. We're cleaning up all of this nastiness. We're going to also take the valve covers off, new valve cover gaskets, paint the valve covers, and repaint this, whatever this is going on. That's... We're going to hope we do all this work and that it's all gooder, is what's going on here. This thing has been slinging power steering fluid and I don't know what for a while, because I mean, it's all over the place. The amount of crap I scraped off of there. Let me just show you. I'm going to show you the stuff that I scraped off. Now this is, again, not going to be a show truck, but we want a nice truck. This is what come off the cross member. As if you can tell, it was laying right there. This is what come off our bracket. I mean, we got that clean now, but I mean, for real? Whew. Okay, so we're going to replace the water pump anyway. If it's not leaking, so be it. But I'm this far in and I already have one. I believe it's leaking. Just because where I showed you on one of the last videos, where in proximity it was leaking, I was supposed to get a power steering pump in today. I did not. So, unfortunately, I can't wrap up this and the alternator, which is just awesome. Not only that, this wiring only has one wire, so I'm not sure which one of wherever the pigtail went. My pigtail has 4 wires. I am sure this is the one that runs to the gauge. I just have to see which one it is on my pigtail, I guess, because it doesn't tell me where the crap. Oh, I'll put it here. So this is the correct pigtail for a 92, and there's 4 wires, and I'm not sure what. I don't really know what's going on here. I don't know what words mean. This is crazy. Like, I know where that guy goes. That bolts to that right there. But I don't have any more wires running up here. Unless he, like, really tucked them back good somewhere and I'm not seeing them. And as you can tell, this guy has done professional wiring in his past. You know, we twisted that together really good. But this wire runs to the coolant sensor over there, and there's 4 wires. I just don't have any more wires. So I'm going to actually have to look and see if, like, wires are snipped, through back. I don't know. I don't know what the heck's going on. The good thing is I keep on seeing wires like this that's, like, you know, probed and slapped, you know, just... Can you guys see that? Let me get my other... Where did it go? There it is. There's my good flashlight. So, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that dreams are made of. You see that wire that's just right there, bright and shiny, just, yeah. You see the copper hanging out? It had professional tape on it, so I know it was done correctly. And there was nothing spliced to it, so that makes me feel more gooder. And the paint is just amazing on it. I love the green that makes no sense. Anyway, I'm going to find some bolts to go back in these holes that don't really do a whole lot. Anyway, to pull that power steering pump pulley, you're actually going to have to get a puller. Something like this guy that I got from O'Reilly's. So how this works is, you choose the correct sleeve that goes around that guy. You clamp it together, slide this over, and then you torque that guy, pops it right off. It's actually a pretty neat little tool. And I mean, that's really going to speed up the process tomorrow whenever I don't have to pull the pump and I don't have to pull that. But nonetheless, it kind of is what it is. Our lines are setting down in here. They look okay-ish. We're going to hope there's no leaks. I don't think that there is. Oh, maybe. See that seal right there? Always check your seals, because that guy is bad. That right there is a leak waiting to happen if it wasn't a leak already. So we'll have to get another one of those seals, which I'm sure that I have sitting around here. Get one that fits snugly over that end and you'll be okay. Should be. Most of them are collar coated for pressure, just so you know, just like AC lines. I'm probably going to put a regular on it and just roll the dice. You know, I got a Harbinese freight set somewhere over here. It'll be okay, hopefully. But anyway, I cleaned off our timing mark. Hopefully that we don't need it. That's what we were messing with on the iRock that you guys couldn't see that well. Was that guy right there. See the 0 and all that good jazz. We're also going to put new plug wires on it, and we're going to do them one at a time for one reason only. I don't really want to take time to measure all these things out, and hopefully whoever did it before at least has the right length wires in the right place. It's not really that hard on a small block Chevy. I know them like the back of my hand. I mean, I know them pretty darn well. We also got NGK plugs we're going to replace because I don't like problems. I replaced the fuel filter. Like I said, I don't like problems. Preventative maintenance. You know, it's just not two cool words to put together. But I'm going to find some bolts, take off the water pump, put the new one on, drain the coolant. It probably looks like rust because there's like rust from the coolant everywhere, which is probably a really good sign. And then we're just going to scratch our head and probably call it a night. Then we'll come back out here, put the power steering pump on, and wait for the transmission to be done. And move on to something else on this truck because there's plenty of YouTube gold. Plenty. Find out where all this wiring goes. That's going to be great. Yep. Anyway, I've rattled on long enough. Time to get busy. Remember how I said this was like a smorgasbord type episode? So we end up taking the grill back out and redoing it so it somewhat fits better. This wasn't nowhere near like that. It's, you know, still a newer grill than the truck. So I don't know if that's why that doesn't fit correctly, or I don't know. The power steering pump was absolutely leaking out of the front seal, which you can see it there. It's been leaking for a while. So that's a good thing. And there's nice oily residue on the inside, and you can see the rust mark right there. Which also, I dropped my air cleaner lid, so that's good. And again, so we're just going to place that strategically right there. The brand new water pump also was leaking, and I'll show you how I know that. Kind of the same kind of deal. There was a nice rust line underneath the weep hole. All right, so there is the top part right there. See that? That nice rust line. Water's been leaking out of there. So that brand new pump is crap. I have a lifetime pump from O'Reilly's. So we should be good, or ish. And oh, did you see the valve cover over there, did you? Yep, we're rebuilding this motor, Craigslist style, and we're going with orange because we like it. We're going to paint over this green here with black, but yeah, you know, we've been cleaning it as we go and spraying what we can, you know what I mean? So it's going to look good-ish. It's going to be like, wow, new motor? Like, no, not really, just a lot of new parts. And the motor doesn't look horrible inside. It's got a little bit of slimy, but not like, oh my God, walk away. You know what I mean? So hopefully everything works out good. And I think that's just where it's set for a while, hopefully. And it hasn't been maintained. We're going to hope that's no water in the oil. If it is, we'll be doing head gaskets. It is what it is. We're going to hope that isn't the case, just because we have way too much to do anyway, and we just don't feel like doing that part. Anyway, so we put the new water pump on. We're going to do the valve cover gaskets, and like I said, we're rebuilding on her. New rings, new gaskets, all that good stuff. And then we will come back tomorrow night, maybe, and throw the power steering pump back on, make that look gooder, and I guess no, we can't. We're just going to wait until we get the transmission to see if it runs, because why not? But we're still going to do the tune-up, and we're not going to zip tie like to stuff like that. There's actually little clips that you can purchase or whatever to put on there and get rid of that zip tie guy right there. Now granted, that works, but it obviously didn't work too well because it hit right there on the steering shaft and it arced right there, so that's a good thing. I don't know what that means. This looks like it says 198, 231. I don't know what that means, but I don't know if this motor's been replaced also. I know the transmission has been replaced or rebuilt at least once. Now it's getting it a second time because they ran it low on fluid, because that's one of the many leaks that this truck had. And we're remedying that as well with a brand new transmission and fittings and lines, wherever I put them. But they are supposed to be really gooder, and I probably lost them, so that's good. Anyway, I'll have to find them and show you guys, but that's going to be it for tonight. I'm going to throw that valve cover on and then go get 2.5 hours sleep, because we have been cleaning the guts out of this, fixing leaks, you know, all that fun stuff that everybody loves to do. And yeah, so we're going to button this guy up tonight, throw the valve covers back on, and call it a night. Getting a little tired. And then, like I say, we'll come back, throw the power steering pump back on, the alternator with the correct wiring, hopefully, if we can find it on the computer, and just send it. Sound good? Oh, and the tune-up. So I'm not going to record that part. Just do one wire at a time. If you don't know, match up the wires as you go, and you can't really mess it up. So we'll see you guys here tomorrow night, and we'll finish the power steering pump. All right? See you then. Well, we're back, and as you can tell, we've been pretty hot at it. I am hopefully sparing you guys some boring stuff. This is, I just want to show you guys how to put the pulley back on, since I kind of showed you how to take it off, kind of didn't. So you use a different type thing. You turn this in and it presses it, and you hold this piece back here. I use the ratchet and a wrench because it made things so much faster. I mean, so much faster. And you'll go until this thing tightens and you can't go anymore. Now, I hear some of you, and you're right. We rebuilt this whole motor. Look at it. Yeah, how about that? We also got some huge friggin' eBay-ish or Amazonian type wires. They're huge. They're really huge. They're giant. Like if you need to jump start a car, you can take 2 of these off and put on there. They are easily double the size of the old ones. They're, yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on there. Also, while you're here, you can go ahead and put on your belt, because it's going to be a heck of a lot easier without half the fan shroud in the way. The power steering pump we got on there, pretty easy. We definitely secured it because we're shaking the whole motor. We put in the bolts that was missing, and roughly enough that just seemed to work really well. Strange, huh? We went ahead and did the tune-up. We did 1 wire at a time. We did the length just like I told you. We went with NGK V-Power plugs, and the plugs was a little bit hit. I mean, they're crusty in ways, you know what I mean? And can you see it? This is one of the worst ones. And this, I mean, that's not horrible. Not horrible. But there was a few, most of them are just a little crustaceous, and you know, they'd been in there for, I don't know, a minute. Nonetheless, I like to know the status of when they're in and all that. That way, so I know, hey, this thing should run better, or it shouldn't. I don't know. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on the power steering pump, on how to press it on. The alternator, we're going to put a new end on that, connecting right back, where is it? Right there. And then for this particular model, a 1992 model, this only has 1 wire that runs to the gauge. My plug-in isn't like that, so we're going to take, there it is. We're going to take this pigtail here, and I don't know which one is going to be it. That's awesome. But what we're going to end up doing, I think, it's going to probably be, heck, I don't know. Weird. It has letters down there, but none of them are like gauge, you know what I mean? We may just end up touching them. Now, we know it's not going to be the thick red one. That's eliminated. The green one, maybe-ish, or the blue? I don't know. But anyway, we may end up taking this wire and touching it to the ends of this pigtail here to find out the correct the correct one that we need to touch for the gauge to work. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. So tonight, you know, that we're going to do another, we're going to do it when we get it running, because that right there will tell our gauge, you know, what's going on. But these wires, guys, make sure you don't put them right on the exhaust manifold. Give them some leeway, okay? Make sure you're not wrapping them around metal that is going to rub it raw. That's what happened on the steering shaft with the other one, right? And it cooked it along with it. So that's what I'm trying not to do. And that's actually on a heat shield, or close to it. We're just gonna, you know, send it on this one. We wrapped them all the way around stuff that it should not rub against. We pulled them tight so they don't rub as well and vibrate. So that's what we're going to do with that. We're also going to get the truck up tonight, change the oil in it, because we don't know when it was changed last, and it was a little bit sketchy, to say the least. And we got one more surprise. And you guys stick around and I'll show you the last surprise I have for this truck. Other than the transmission and hopefully making this thing run like way more gooder. Yeah. But just stick around for a second. And since I don't have to work smart, we're just going to burn midnight oil, okay? So let me put the belt on it. We're going to change the oil. We're going to do something else and I'll show you, okay? Just stick around. The ending's going to be pretty cool, I think. All right, guys and gals, I have changed the oil. I put coolant in it, put power steering fluid in it, and we might have a little dilemma. I'm not sure. So I changed the oil, put power steering fluid in. The camera just did something where I don't know if it caught all that or not. Anyway, and you know, as you see, we rebuilt all this, but we may have made a mistake in rebuilding it. Okay, so we didn't. We Craigslist rebuilt it. Just lost the receipt, just like old Derek says. We took out the oil filter and the plug, and there is a little bit of dilemma. We got water-ish moisture in the oil, absolutely, positively. But this truck is also set for quite a while, and I don't know how long that oil's been in there. That being said, to say this, you ready? We put on the Camaro wheels. Now, we're probably going to go ahead and go with these all the way around. 265, 45. Because they feel the wheel well a heck of a lot better than those do. I thought maybe it might feel it better. Like, you know, give it a little rake look kind of thing. Now, granted, we still have it on the lift, but those are going to look better than those, I believe. So, and we actually have room for the other ones. So we'll end up switching those out and saving those other two tires for a rainy day or whatever, you know. We're going to have to keep an eye on this motor to see if it does have a blown head gasket, because if it does, man, I don't know if I really want to spend the time, money, and effort, maybe I do, I don't know, to put head gaskets on. I might, just because I've already put an alternator, a power steering pump, and a water pump on this. Or whenever we swap the IROC out, we might just keep the 305 and put it in here. Because it just is what it is. It's an OSB. It's a good looking old truck. But anyway, this was kind of a filler video, if you will. I just want to fill you guys in on what's getting done on the old Toby. The only other real big plans I have for this right now, as of in this time, is put the door panels back on it, throw a seat cover on it, get rid of all that crap on the dash, put a key and tumbler in it. Oh, the tailgate, you know, thing there. We're just going to slow pace it after we get the transmission in it. We wanted to make sure if we wanted to drive this, we could. And I think after the transmission and a few other little tiny things, we should be able to drive this truck to make sure it is reliable, dependable. And, you know, if we decide we want to drive the old thing back and forth to work, you know, we can if we really choose to. But we're definitely going to switch those front tires to these front tires, and I have the other two sitting over there. I like bigger wheels and tires on these. I think it looks better. What do you guys think? The BFGs that I had are half and half worn out and half are good. So that was another reason for switching to these. I have wheels and tires already. So, you know, what the world, why not? Other than that, guys and gals, that's going to wrap it up for Toby for a while, I think, because we really, really need to jump back on the SN66 and get this sucker completed. We're going to a swap meet I guess it's technically Friday now, tomorrow. So I'm gonna have to get some sleep. It's like 2:40-ish in the morning. We really wanted to crank out a lot on this thing just so we can get everything rolling for whenever the transmission comes in. We can throw it in and be done. Because this project was, you know, much like the Mustang over there, never really intended to have them, because I didn't intend on buying an OBS Chevy truck. It happens. I mean, there's worse stuff bought, you know. Anyway, if you guys got questions on some of this stuff, I know this didn't go in great detail on what and how to do a lot of stuff, and I apologize. This was just keeping you guys kind of updated on what is going on with this truck. Sorry, I was making sure I shut off my air compressor. And you know how this build's going to go for Toby. And I really like the Camaro wheels. I mean, I rebuilt them there. Look at that, all blacked out. Rebuilt the drum brakes while we were in there. So that's going to be it for Toby for a while, maybe. I'm not planning really to do a whole lot more shows as of right now. We need to get back on that guy and see what's what, and hopefully make it run. So as soon as we get the transmission in, it will be back on that, and we're going full steam. That's enough for this episode. It's a long one. I apologize. It's not really informative. We'll do better, okay? And it's going to get a whole lot better here on Right Turn Garage TV. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Y'all have a great weekend.